Everyone would rise and do the pledge of allegiance together, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening and welcome, Jill. I didn't check in. We got the video running on there. Just a few items. Everyone to please silence cell phones and watches. Our meetings are publicly recorded. This is a business meeting, so we ask everyone to conduct themselves in a professional manner. Our city code allows for public comment up to 3 minutes, and for best sound quality, please lean into these microphones to speak. So we have 7 committee meetings this evening, and we will kick off with the finance.
Madam Mayor, I'll call Finance Committee meeting in order at 6 o'clock. And those present, and myself, Alderman Mon, Alderman Panda, Alderman Nevoice, and Alderman Peel. First, we'll start out with the ITEP grant review, and I'm going to hand it over to Jill, and she can update us a little bit on that. What we're looking at here.
So this is the project that we had taken to committees earlier, just asking if we could have approval to move forward and start planning. After attending the ITEP meeting in April, I went to the one-on-one sessions, kind of proposed this plan to the people that were there from IDOT and the district engineers. And they basically approved our projects. They said, yes, everything that we are proposing here qualifies and would make a good project. They added on a little section of sidewalk to the south. What you see in yellow is a sidewalk that we're proposing that we could link Upfield Drive over to Stephen Drive and the Lincoln Park walking trail. That is what we estimated would be doable in this first round. Whenever I showed that to the IDOT crew, they said, why did you stop there? We want to see the big picture. And I said, well, the big picture is to eventually link up both parks and to be able to have walkways from Rats Park safely being able to cross Route 3 and link together with those walking trails. So that's what they wanted to see. So that's where you'll see the purple, the green is the existing trail that we have. The red lines that you see are existing sidewalks. But they really wanted to see how we could increase safety around Route 3. And so that's why you see the purple lines there. As far as our budgets, the max grant amount is 5 million. However, we would have a 50% match to that. So whatever project we determine, we would have to come up with half the amount in order to fund the actual project. So in looking at it, we met Monday, talked with Josh and Jeff and Susan and Liz. And this is kind of what we guesstimated. If we had a project around 500,000, our match requirement 50%, sorry. Could come from MFT dollars, surplus dollars, some street CD interest. So this is kind of what we wanted to bring to you to get your thoughts on the idea and what you would like to see moving forward.
You're talking doing this whole project.
I am talking about
You're talking about the initial one.
the yellow portion of that. So just a piece of it. But they wanted to see, and part of that too is they told us, well, you show us the big picture. And then if you get approved initially for this project, that kind of allows you, it doesn't guarantee you to get an ITEP grant in the future, but they've already approved the project, they've already reviewed it. If they accept it, then that's something that they would anticipate going through the application process quite easily if you want to do this in the future to maybe take off another chunk of this project down the road.
So they haven't approved anything.
No, the application period doesn't open until later this summer. So this was just their initial, hey, here's the information about the grants. They did a demonstration and the presentation for the first half of the day. And the next day and a half, they scheduled one-on-one meetings with community members so that we could bring them our plans, say, this is what we're wanting to do. Do you approve of this? Should we move forward with that application, or should we rethink what we're doing and go elsewhere? So.
But what are you looking for at this point in time?
So this point in time, we're looking at a project of that yellow section, building sidewalks from Field Drive to Lincoln Park on Stephen Drive. And after talking with Josh and Jeff, we're looking at 500,000 is what we anticipate. It's a good guesstimate at this point. We wouldn't know until we got engineering involved. But in order to do that, we need council approval to kind of move forward.
So you're looking for approval to move forward with the grant process for the 500,000. In order that we will have to come up with 250.
Right.
Figure out where we'll.
Thank you for summarizing. Yes.
That,
Good summary.
Yes.
what discussion or somebody like making motion on this? Make a motion. Make a motion to apply for grant 500,000. Motion, and a second.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the prior month's meeting minutes. Second. All those in favor? Aye. Carries. There's no maturing CDs at this time. We are at the 12th month of our fiscal year. Happy to report that our total revenue is at 153% of forecast and expenditure of 62% forecast. Currently have $854,902.74 cash on hand. And please note the total capital expenditures for fiscal year 26 has been $1,530,074. That makes the adjusted net income for fiscal year 26 $986,978. Moving on to the Leadership Council, SWIL Global Aerospace Summit. I know, as speaking with Jill earlier, we did this last year. It was the first year. We got a table, if I'm not mistaken, and that was $500. I believe in talking after my conversation with Jill was beneficial for the networking side of things, and I would. You are wanting to get a table again or a booth, correct?
Well, so the sponsorship that we're looking for is that bronze level sponsorship with our logo to be on the website. We get a half page ad and 2 event passes for the actual summit. So this last year we used to promote the Redwood Business Park and businesses who are looking to come to the area to open a place of business. We have land available. We were one of the few in the area last year, so they really helped us out. So the Leadership Council did, and allowed us to come in and not only provided us a sponsorship, but they provided us a table where we could set up and advertise for the business park and lots for sale.
Do you think with this $500 we'll get the same kind of treatment again this year?
I'm asking, nothing's set in stone, but that would be something that I would ask for.
Okay. That being said, I would I'll go ahead and make the motion that we become a bronze level sponsor for the Global Aerospace Summit again this year. About $500. All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. In your packet, you'll see our capital plan. You all got copies of it. And after the discussion during last month's meeting, or the last meeting about the side by side, I know there were some questions raised, so we thought it was a good idea to maybe add that in the packet and see if anything. Raise any eyebrows on that, or if anybody had time to review it, or if you want more time to review it, we could put it back on the agenda at a later date. If you guys have any questions or concerns about that, at this point in time?
I would like to see you in a month or two to kind of review it and ask questions and.
Okay.
Few months, June might be busy.
Yeah, I think we have some visitors with the meter and stuff coming. In June, correct? Maybe July.
Yeah.
We just know to put that as a placeholder on the July committee agenda.
Okay.
Okay, next will be the. Robin construction loan request, he sent out a letter. Email. That mayor. Now explaining what we have going on here, and we're looking for. I believe it's a 6-month extension. Correct. Got it. If. Yeah, if you wanna go ahead and you can explain yourself a little bit more.
Just go through, yeah, Chris, for the reporting, you need to
Lean in.
identify yourself.
That better?
Yes, thank you.
So, yes, I'm basically asking for a 6-month extension of the construction loan portion of it. Hopefully you can see that we've started to make a lot more progress over there.
Yes.
And I guess a couple of the bigger things that impacted it were, one, the weather. I realize I'm used to being in Phoenix, right? I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. I knew, but there were a lot of like delays because of that mostly, just whether motor would set, couldn't paint steel beams, that type of thing. The other thing I'm struggling or have been struggling with a good bit is people showing up. And the consistency of having each trade. Now Brandon. Thank you, Rodney, for that one, because Brandon's been great. Brandon's really stepped up and helped me in a good bit, and if I can't find one trade or somebody doesn't show up, we're both sourcing whoever's next that we can come up with. So it is moving pretty darn good now. I also pretty much moved here. Out of one more week, I will be in Phoenix, and then I will be here for all the time. They're kind of stuck with me now, sorry, either way. I'll just apologize for that up front. But mainly that's it. There were a lot of things that we had to uncover. I mean, I think we had at least 6 dumpsters of just plaster that we took out of that building, right? Like it, and as you uncover things, there's very interesting other things that we had to deal with. Structural engineering has been one too, because there were changes made to the building prior to me that I feel are very important to make sure that we're structurally making sure everything is intact. So I have another structural engineer meeting this Thursday. But that part most of that's been pretty much resolved, but there's just a couple other calcs that we need. So, and I kind of just listed out in my email too, like right now, it's up. Bickmore and J Hornell are the 2 that are over there getting HVAC, plumbing and electrical in. He did get the new line of service set up. We needed to get an additional line to separate the buildings as well. And then for opening, I kind of just in the email, I just put each one about that timeline. I mean, any questions you guys in particular you have for me? It's just
So I see that you've got the corner store being the first component of the project to be completed. That corner store is actually, what part? What's that, what scope is that?
so in the retail spot there, the old milk shop.
Okay,
That is, and I know we kind of touched on it to begin with, but mostly, I mean, without trying to. Like I said, but step on any of the other businesses in town, we will still have coffee. We'll probably have some sort of soft serve. Shade ice, we're gonna have like. Products and home goods and charcuterie items and kind of like a general store or mercantile store type thing, also like grab and go like some sandwiches and healthier options. And I brought these pastries, so hopefully y'all get some of those, but I kind of paired up with, I don't know if anybody's been to Zara's in Waterloo. Lauren there is going to, she is going to supply, we're working together and we're gonna have a lot of her stuff, just so that in the beginning, we don't have to have a full kitchen, but we can still have things in there. Fresh bread and stuff like that too, so it'll be a lot of different things. And then the apartment upstairs will go hand in hand, because we're doing that at the same time, right? And that, in theory, that out, that'll have to depend on the construction and on what, I don't need to run it to a tenant that can't. Then I have a problem with the construction was, right? And then we moved to the speakeasy instead of the restaurant first. Everything has to be laid for the plumbing and electrical in that ceiling. So we decided with the liquor part of it, it's right now, J&J is at like 6 to 8 months. And so,
For Jamie's side of it.
yes, and that's a timely estimate, like, I think everybody knows when Jackson will get theirs for quite some time, so. So we're trying to get that liquor, have the liquor license submitted, we're meeting tomorrow evening with the planning commission on that as well. Just so they could, mainly I want that in place so that that timing can start ticking.
So the Hugo's Hideaway, I understand that's the speakeasy down below, correct?
Correct.
How will the access be done to that? Will you go through the rest of the building to get to the speakeasy?
So there's a staircase that goes down directly to the speakeasy, which is that's what we were gonna do. And then we have an elevator inside as well, where the old staircase went down to the basement, not in the front, but in the back section of the building. I was trying to wait on the elevator as the last thing, because, I mean, let's just call it $100,000, just like that, right? So it was one of those that but we're having more of an issue because we have the 2 bathrooms that were in the restaurant prior aren't ADA. So we're gonna probably have to put ADA bathrooms in the basement so that we can comply with the whole building code. And if we do that, I mean, we have to have a elevator to get down there, so.
So where do you see yourself being in 6 months?
Move back to Phoenix, so I'm not coming back to Phoenix, but no, but honestly, I think now I have much better trades in my pocket, right? Like that with the momentum, and really the winter was tough because I was really pushing it. And the reason it happened so quickly, once it opened up, it's because I've been stalking all of these people for the last 4 months. Like, I'm like the first one, right? Right, as soon as you get laid in order, I'm in, so, before the picnic, don't totally know they did this, but, I'm trying to get the parking lot done, the hardscape out there, it just so that it looks better, right, so it looks nicer, and if it's not completely done, I'll make sure there's no equipment or machinery sitting out there during that. But the idea was there. The biggest problem that we're having on that is that wall that I'm opening up with the floor to ceiling glass in the restaurant side. That's the structural engineer count. I need to know what my collection is for those glass windows, and I need to put them in and break them. So, we've been working on that for a while, and honestly, I had a structural engineer come out of St. Louis, and it was over 20 grand. It was ridiculous. So I got another one. I've done a meeting with Thursday, I've talked to him already a few times, he knows the scope of what we're trying to do, it's much more reasonable. So.
So you think what you had outlined as far as dates, you had Corner Store anticipated opening in July, you had Hugo's Hideaway like late September, early October, and then Adeline's. End of December, early January, those timelines should still be holding fairly well.
And that would be the 6 months as well, right?
And then I had checked with Rebecca, you said it would be minimal fees to go forward, an addendum or something basic could carry this forward.
Yeah, we just have to prepare basically a mortgage extension and a note extension, so it's really not a big deal at all.
I guess my next question would be for everybody sitting here. How often are we gonna be willing to do this? You know, if if Kristen comes back in 6 months and wants a 6-month extension. Are we committed, are we? I know it's tough to answer at this point in time, but it's something that. You know,
So.
Or do we set it as a hard deadline and say, you know, we're granting a 6-month extension, but this is a one-time extension? I don't know.
So now can I say, you're both builders. So don't say you don't get it, right? Especially in old construction, and we didn't really get started until August. So we're not even talking, and then I had a solid, how many months of winter until we just finally, and in that short time. A lot started to happen, in fairness.
I'm not arguing that, I'm arguing the commitment of the rest of these guys that,
I get ya.
you know.
Well, one other option is Adeline says it could be end of December, beginning of January. Do you go through, maybe through January to say then that's our hard stop? So that.
I guess I'm just looking that we don't come back here in January and say, hey, I need another.
No, you would-
And I, please, I understand how.
No, and I mean, I don't even mind if we have some sort of checkpoint, right? I mean. I know you come by periodically, or, you know what I mean, but if there's something that makes it feel better, and mind you, I am physically going to be here with the exception of probably a week to 10 days, and other than that, I'm here.
It seems that that'll apply to as well, when you get here.
Yes.
Yeah. So. I'm still unclear of what everybody's thinking.
I don't.
Sorry, just
Make a
from,
motion where it's. Where it's it. Is that in the motion, all that kind the rest of the committee wants to do, or
Well,
any other ideas?
Rebecca, can we set a one time, say this is a one-time extension with a deadline of the end of January?
you can, and it's not like if we don't extend it, and she's not finished, you know, we're taking the building back, obviously. You know, whatever we've lent to her, we would ask that she goes and gets a loan and pays us back for that amount of money, so it's not like. It would be done, but also she did have Adeline's anticipated opening end of December, January, which means they'll be done with construction, I would think, for the most part, and with the loan for the most part before then. You know, you'll have final things that you need to do, but
I don't think at this point we're gonna be there. I don't think it's gonna take quite as long as I even anticipate. The only thing is, some of the things are out of my control, right? Like even I think y'all noticed when we put the storefront in, some of the glass didn't fit. And then the pieces metal were broke, so I got front doors and no windows on the other side. I was like, oh, so like in JJ Gaming, like if I mean, I can open without the games in there, right? So I mean, that really shouldn't hinge, but I think that, I think that honestly, I think the end of January is. I don't foresee any reason that it wouldn't be done, I really don't.
Because J&J, they won't, until you are open and serving, correct? They won't even entertain your
No.
requests.
So all they want is the liquor license in place, so we don't even have to be open. I don't have to open, if we get approval for liquor license. She's gonna apply with the state and get it going, so while we're finishing construction, it's in the process, so it's literally just like, look at the box to get the timeline started.
That's another question I've got, would, you know, obviously you got a hearing tomorrow night.
Yes,
And. 99.9% sure that you're not gonna have an issue with it. But does some of this need to be contingent on? Getting that license and being able to. To get the gaming.
I don't think the games is any part of us, is it? I mean, that's really a benefit to her only.
She has to have the license to get the gaming.
I understand that.
She needs a special use before she can get her liquor license.
Yeah, okay, I said that wrong, yeah.
Yeah, so.
So you're thinking maybe forming the motion that contingent on a special use, then we would extend this to X date.
yeah, that's fine,
Yeah, and like I said,
I'm not,
I anticipate no. No issues with it, I'm just,
that's a fair statement.
and it covers, kind of cover us too, you know. And one other thing which Rebecca had said, it's not gonna be a big deal, is the cost. I think moving forward, we should, if we extend the contract, the cost should be paid by the person extending it, which in this case would be Kristen. You know, even if it's minimal cost,
It's about $500, it's not
Yeah.
crazy.
I mean, you know, we've spent,
Yeah, no,
any clue is how many dollars we've spent to date on this contract?
I mean,
I mean, just,
how much is drawn?
no, how much we have spent to initiate, to.
We're just spending-
what am I
We have
trying
to
to
look
say?
that up.
That would have been on one of her invoices, so I don't know.
Yeah, it was just
yeah, I'm
initial.
sorry, I don't remember.
But I can see what you're saying, we've used the people's money to this point, so this is kind of an outlier, then pass, that would pass that off.
Exactly.
I don't have an issue with that either.
Okay, make the motion.
I would suggest maybe not saying January is the final in line, just because you don't wanna paint yourself into a corner, but.
Could we word it as just a one-time extension at this point?
I mean.
And we could do a 3-month extension.
I'm not anticipating any more extensions, I'm just saying.
I feel like, you know, if we're worried about it possibly happening, we could always deny it the next.
Exactly.
It's that simple, then you're not stuck to a date, you know, right off the top, you know, you could say. You know, after that 6-month extension, if she has to come back and we can, and we're not happy with it, then we can deny it then. Yeah, then you're not stuck to a date, it's kind of what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion that grants the 6-month extension. With the, what do I want to say, that the cost covered by the by the person
Borrower?
The
by the
loan
borrower.
and the borrower.
Legal costs, yeah, things so.
Well, Bill, did you want a contingent on the permit?
I don't know if we, do you think we should, it's.
I don't see
If
why,
we're doing the others.
I don't see why it's
See
necessary,
any issues.
I don't think we would need to do it that way.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
I-
Motion carries.
Good.
Thank you.
just-
For the paper.
Just to clarify, we will be going through 12/11 of 2026 then, you said 6-month extension? You're gonna need to know for your documents, right?
Is that?
Just want to clarify, thank you.
Okay, next up, we have the St. Clement Community Foundation grant application. I didn't see anything in the packet on this deal, could you speak on it a little?
Sure, yes, so this is a grant that will be coming up, the application period starts in June, I believe, it is for some community dollars. It just seemed like an opportunity that we could find something to write for, if nothing else, it could kind of piggyback off of our hydrants projects. It's it's an open grant, it's just for, help me out, like community.
No, it's actually
Guidance
for,
or-
it needs to be for like medical or health type related things.
Oh, gotcha,
Yeah, we thought possibly John had an idea, but we're gonna have to tease it out.
Okay.
But this was a good opportunity to get the motion moving tonight, or get this thing moving, because the deadline.
We're just looking for, permission for them to sell property.
Yeah, and it's a small grant, there's no match, it's just money directly to us, if we fit the criteria, that's gonna be the determining factor.
That point, then we meet on that again to figure out what we want the dollars go for. Right?
We could bring that to you, yeah, through a Friday update or something.
Okay. In that case, I'll go ahead and make a motion to give Jill permission to apply for the St. Clement Community Foundation grant.
So,
All those in favor? Motion carries. Any public comment or anything for the good of the city? Hearing none, I will adjourn finance at 6:28.
Okay, thank you. Next up is Personnel Committee.
Call personnel committee to order at 6:28. Myself, Beaver, Parsons, and Taylor here, Dojan is absent. We have no old business. Under new business, make a motion to approve the prior month's meeting minutes from April 20th, 2026. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Next up, the executive session, so I move that we convene the executive session under section 5 ISCS 120/2 C1 of the Open Meetings Act for discussion of personnel matters. Second. All in favor? Going to executive session 6:20.
for the back. Call us back in order at 6:49. All right, after discussion of personnel matters at this time, we're gonna need further review and we will, hear the issues and we'll evaluate the picture. Any public comments, anything for the good of the city? Hearing none, I'll close personnel committee at 6:50.
Okay, thank you. Next up is Public Health and Safety Committee.
Thank you. I'll call Public Health and Safety at 6:51. Myself, Hebert, Mueller, and Parsons is here, Dojan's absent. Old business, health card. Ordinance, John, you have been updated on that. We haven't done anything.
Working on it.
Okay, we're good then. Okay, new business. I'll make a motion, we approve the April 20th, 2026 minutes.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Departmental activity report. Everything in the packet. Anything additional? Anybody got any questions for John? Drone discussion.
So I can bring this back to committee, the originally, I got approved to spend $22,000. One of the quotes you have there is the original quote, which is 21,586. So when I submitted this to, go ahead and purchase the drone, he shot me back the second quote that you have there, which is 24,556. He did add the, AMB RT3, which is a remote viewing live stream that goes with the drone where I could actually watch the drone if I was out of town or something. If there had something going, I could actually watch it and stream it. Which wouldn't be a bad deal, but it was way more than what I originally got approved for. So I had to go refigure some of the items on there, and still with the AMD R3, we could get it for 22,516, which is still more than the initial approved price. So that's the reason I brought it back to committee. Personally, I'd like to go ahead and do the 24. But again, I'll get it approved from you guys before I can move forward.
John, one thing I noticed, when you go to the from the first one to the second one, on that, the second line down, that Beatrice 30, TB 30 battery, there was 6 of those in the first quote and then 8 in the second quote.
Correct. That's part of the items they reduced to try and get it down to the 22.
So what's the ideal amount of batteries you need? Because one quote's got 6, one's got 8, and one's got 4.
6 is good, 8 is gonna be better, we can have a longer runtime. Okay, I mean, it's just gonna extend your runtime now.
But the 6 would be adequate.
It should be adequate.
What is the runtime on the 6, John?
They're saying 40 per battery, I think.
Or 40 per battery? And it's a pack aluminum with a 6 or 8.
And ideally, you'd want the quote that's 24,565 with all the bells and whistles.
That would be ideal in this. And I think the original grant or not grant, per person donated 25, so let's stay under the 25.
Are you looking to change that tonight? Because this says drone discussion.
Yeah, this was.
Well,
But it can't be approved.
so why don't, yeah. So what do you need down?
25,
And you have how much of it covered?
all of that would be covered by.
Okay.
He received 25,000.
Right.
He originally was approved with 22 or something. Oh, he's expecting.
No, I get that, I'm just talking about how much would be nothing out of our pocket.
Yeah,
right, so.
I still have $2,000 that I received from other spots, like for training and other things, so.
And we make a motion or just, recommendation or? Well, I'll just make a recommendation that we move it to council meeting. For approval of 25,000. Thank you.
We don't have to vote on this.
Yeah, sure.
And then we'll just put that as a single line item under public health and safety on the council meeting then.
Right, right. Good. Okay, what needs training requires? This is Officer Reinhardt and Stillhorn, June 15th and 16th. $80, is that correct, John?
That'd be for the lunches for the 3 days. Lunches for both of them for the 2 days.
There, it's in Edwardsville.
That's free training, you just have to pay to travel and be.
Right.
Well, we did not travel personally.
Well, they'll be using a city vehicle.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So I'll make a motion, we send Officer Reinhardt and Stillhorn to 4E training, June 15th and 16th in Edwardsville.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Public comments, anything for the good of the city? Hearing none, we'll adjourn at 6:57.
Okay, next up is cultural committee.
Okay, I will call cultural committee to order at 6:57. Myself, Jamon, Beaver, and Mueller are all present. Dojan is absent. No old business, so we'll move down to new business. I will make a motion to approve the meeting minutes, how about that, from April 20th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion passed. We've got here an approval for Randolph County Main Site Electric Four-Way. All the details are included in the packet there. On October 16th from 2 to 6 and October 17th from 8 to noon. I'd make the motion that we approve that. There. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. St. Peter's UCC is requesting to close a portion of Randolph Street, basically from their corner back to Graceline. For the barbecue June 7th, 2026. Is that something we do every year?
They've done, as far as I know, they've done past and we provided barricades.
Right, okay. Okay. Any discussion around that? Anyone have an issue with that?
No issue, it isn't all day, but the time, line on it, but.
Yeah, I think there was a timeline.
Our logs,
It's a Sunday anyway, so.
There is a plan, is it?
I'm just curious.
Okay,
It don't sway me one way.
I make a motion, we close that portion of Randolph for UCC. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. We do have an edit to agenda line item 4 here. We just need to exclude City Hall from that. We're not requesting City Hall parking lot here. Just the city parking lot that is adjacent to the building, so. I would make a motion that we approve 2 lanes request to close a portion of First Street, West First Street. Between Round 3 and Oak. And the city parking lot for June 13th. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Any public comments, anything for the good of the city? Hearing none, I will adjourn cultural at 6:59.
Okay, thank you. Next up is public works.
I call the public works at 6:59 with myself, Honorable Beeboy and Parsons all present, Doshan is absent. Under old business, plant report.
It's just been our generation runs per the schedule, travel, the RE recommendations are ongoing. I think I put in my weekly that, the other items that we have to have, the testing on the generators themselves are scheduled for the first part of August. That, information has been sent to travelers as well. And the renewal packet, Liz had reached out to them, and the renewal packet, should be coming out soon.
Utilities,
Main thing is on the electric, on the substation project update, I just wanted to see if anybody had any questions on that proposed location that I sent out in that email. That I brought up at the last, I guess it was the last many meetings regarding, the possibility of that proposed location on the existing Blossom City Drive right of way. In the, right by the business, sorry, the industrial park portion of it off of Kennedy.
I don't think so.
Okay, well, that was just one thing we brought that up in our past meeting, we'll just see if anybody had any questions, so. And really nothing else but kind of normal day-to-day operations and the other items.
Okay, session planning, anything?
No new update, labor is posting as part of that is still active until the end of the week.
Okay, the annual CPI utility rate increase,
No new update there, I'm still working on some additional talking points.
metering project.
Just a reminder, Scott Jockinson with Fletcher Reinhardt will be here at the June meeting.
Okay. At the June committee meeting.
June committee meeting, is that correct? Yes.
I did have one quick question.
Yes.
Labor position, good interest in that.
New business, I'd like to make a motion to approve prior month's meeting minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
I,
Motion carries. Next item is a construction proposal for a new utility building.
Yeah, this is where the old picnic shed is, if you guys remember what we call the old picnic shed back behind the electric shed next to the beautification building, it's just that open front shed, it's actually. Pretty rough shape as it is now. And this is, we had put this in the capital plan several years back to start trying to fund for this. Would be to take down that old shed, put a new shed up. Enclose, be able to get some of the materials, out of the weather store, shelving or whatever else we could use in there. This is in the budget. Part of the capital plan. Just if you guys have any questions on it, but this would be covered.
Is this something that has to go up for bid or can we just? I don't.
Well, it's one of the things I think by rules if it's a majority. Or
When we get to council, supermajority can approve this.
Okay, that's what I'm asking.
we'll still be, yeah, super majority.
You're also, so I'm sorry.
I understand, I understand.
Okay,
But yes, to your point, yes, 3 bids would be the option.
Right.
I don't know if it's even. I don't know.
okay. Otherwise, then I'll make a motion that we approve the proposal for the new utility building. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item is the municipal supply for gas department for a coil reel trailer.
Yeah, the current one we have is old, and I think it's an old homemade trailer, this is just to replace the current coil wheel trailer. One of the trailers where when you load your pipe up, it's load standing up, and then it lays itself down, so that whenever you're pulling the pipe off, it spins and you can pull the pipe off. It's just a replacement trailer, replace one of the current trailers we have. And again, this is in the current budget and out of the capital plan as well.
So this is a $29,000 item.
Correct.
Question,
And I asked around for a lot of other places, and this is kind of where. When I started looking, and been looking at used, but then again with used you're looking at, I didn't see a lot of the. Anymore, that was somebody else's.
Joe. Any questions? I'll make a motion to approve the trailer and not to exceed 30,000. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item is the Mid-America Technology proposal for locator.
Yeah, we've got one of these, actually it was last year, we bought one with Steve and Clint going to a recent training. They're really cracking down on some of the calibrations and making sure that, you have to have the units calibrated in it, per the manufacturer's recommendations. With that in mind, we have the old unit that we do have currently, that we had prior to the one we bought last year, that is used. Plus the good work for the gas guys, so I was wanting to look at getting another locator. They can be used simultaneously, just on different frequencies. Also, whenever we do have to send one off for shipping, we do still have one here. The gas guys always keep one in their trucks to be able to use for their leak surveys and everything else, so we would have 3. And then we'll just be on a rotation where we would always have at least 2 here when we do have one off for calibration.
Any got questions?
What's the purpose of having 3 of them?
Well, because when you have, like, if the gas department is out and we have ours, plus, you know, what the locators are using. You know, they have, where you have that extra one, where then, like I said, even when we have all 3 here, you can actually use simultaneously, you just have to make sure you have different frequencies. So you can actually do 2 people on the same locate, one locating gas, one locating electric, as long as you're on separate frequencies, you can actually do that. So that actually speeds some of that process up as well. The main thing is whenever you would send one off, you be down the locator, not knowing it, then obviously you want to make sure you have something in-house, be able to cover your locates. Because when locates do come in, we have to have them completed within 48 hours.
That's a change, right, from the past?
As they're getting, as with anything, Commerce Commission is really cracking down on, as well as like EPA and everything else, so that's really stuff they're wanting to look at and want to write people up for. For instance, I know Waterloo has 4 people that locate, they have 5 locators, so they always have that notation of one being out. A little bit of redundancy, so you have that coverage.
But Josh, I guess like if the gas department goes out and they're gonna take a service. That locate typically gets
I
done.
would say they use their locate when they're doing a leak survey. And whatnot, so when they're out doing, it's not an actual locate for an excavation. It's a they're using the locator to follow the line for the leak survey. But yes, when they're doing excavation or services, those locates are already done prior because you can't dig until it's been cleared.
My question, I guess, would be how often do we need more than 2? 3 times a year, 4 times a year? Once every 10 years?
I mean, I know, right now, we have the old one. From Jeff, I think used originally, no? Okay, so it was even before Jeff. That's what's being used over there, but. Ultimately, I think that's gonna have to be retired because of just being able. Calibration, it's old, antiquated, you probably can't get obviously the parts. Out of. We use them, I mean, we just like having that spares, the redundancy in that, I mean, this is something that just kind of come up that I was just wanting to see if it'd be entertained. If we wanted to hold off and see, but like I said, it's just a matter of whenever we have to send that one off. Just to make sure that we're not getting behind the 8 ball that. We would run into a problem with the Illinois Commerce Commission, so.
How often do we calibrate them?
The new models are annually.
And the old model is,
I haven't checked on, I don't know, the old one, I'm not sure, they're typically all between either 6 months and annual. Most of them are annual.
you send it in, it takes 2 weeks.
I don't.
Okay.
I mean, when we send our electric fusion off, it's usually our electric fusion machine off for calibration on the gas side, it's 3 to 4 weeks.
Are they using that gray one?
The old gray one.
That, to be honest with you, that needs to be replaced. Kenny used to use that way back in the day. When you locate, there's a null feature and there's a peak. And you want to use peak. Well, that one only has null. For accuracy purposes, you need to be using peak. This is antiquated equipment that truly does need to be replaced. And in reality, we would then have 2 locators that are up to date. And do their job and get rid of that other.
So basically, we currently do have 3. And want to retire, yes, thank you, Jeff, retire the oldest one, which is the antiquated. And have that in there, so they would have 2 of the newer models and then 1 of the model that we had when. That should go, that should, so.
Okay, because it sounded like the other one, or the 2 old ones are very dated. Any questions? Any other comments? Now, I'd make a motion to approve the new locator at not to exceed 6,500.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Which carries. Trench shoring equipment.
What we have here is, this again, I know is some new items, but it's something that I've been planning for several years. We have rented this in the past, but and sometimes it's you're trying to get into a trench and somebody needs to have something that's hard to get, maybe get some of the equipment or you need it rather readily available. So we do have money in the budget for this. This is some trench safety equipment. I got two different items that I would want to look at. One would be the Allen Trench Safety trench box. It is one that basically it's 2 panels and then it has expandable spreaders for the width of your trench. That will go in. That's the first one from Allen Trench Safety. That is an aluminum panel. That's the type of equipment we have rented from J&J before in the past. The other set is the hydraulic shoring equipment, which we've also rented from United Rentals. That is the shoring that's basically, I don't want to say plywood, it's a different type of plywood. I think you have to use like certain, I think you can actually do 3/4 plywoods, or it's just specialized boards. And then it's basically hydraulic shoring that pushes up against the walls of the trench for safety. For keeping obviously, stuff pulled back. Now, if you get more than 4 feet, that's where we really gotta start working on this, and the big push for this now is just because, again, OSHA and Department of Labor are really cracking down on trench safety and some, I wanna make sure that when we need to have something, we would have it here. And then also the third part of that would be the trailer for storage, so we can easily haul back and forth to the job. I'm using J&J as an example. They have a small trailer like that basically they don't have a rack in it, that the panels all just kind of slide in there, then stuff can be stored nicely in a trailer. You don't have to try and pick it up, put it on the back of a truck to get it out to the job. Basically, you hook it up, you drive the trailer out there, pull out what you need, put it in. With that, I'd also be looking at some training to go along with this, coming down the road, whenever that comes in. With some competent person training, because as you have any excavation of the other big things, they're really gonna be sticklers on making sure that when we have an open trench, that could be a possibility of depth of where we would need some trench protection in it, that you have to have somebody on site that's competent person. So that we would want to do.
So we don't have any trench boxes or anything at this.
We do not have any trench boxes or anything at this time.
So the two different proposals here, what is this the same?
It's two different systems, so I'd like to do both if I could. If we wanted to do.
My question would be, why would you need both? Are you gonna be in 2 trenches at any?
Well, if you have a longer trench, instead of having 2 of the aluminum, you could actually put the trench shoring. You could actually get the other one further down the trench if you had to, so you could, you could actually have, this one is 4 foot by 7 foot, so it's. You could have 7 foot long, and then if you have a longer trench for whatever reason, you could do it, so it's. Just some different options,
But how long does the other one stretch out to be?
it's a 4x8 sheet of plywood.
So it's not going any more than the 7 foot on the other one.
That's what I'm saying, but if you have a longer trench, you could do side by side the 2 different types.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm used to doing trenching and typically you're gonna lay a section of pipe.
It's just, or like I said, if you were to have 2 open, I just was looking for options of. If we were gonna pick one, I would pick the Allen's Trench Safety.
And I'm confused because if you look at the total on the one from Quality Rental.
The United Rentals, if you only look at the highlighted portion, because they included the actual trench box over there. They have the trench box at 59.25 plus the different spreaders with 1840 and 1150, so that's why. I if you kind of looked at, I don't know on yours if it is, it actually totals 7750. For what the hydraulic shoring portion of that quote. It had tax on there, which wouldn't be on there. So instead of the 16,665, which includes a trench box. And hydraulic shoring from United Rentals, 7750 is just the hydraulic shoring portion from the United Rentals quote.
And your current equipment as far as backhoes and or track hoe or whatever you're using is capable of moving this forward.
The aluminum is 200 and. I watched in the one video, the guy was able to pick it up on one end and pull it with the aluminum. It's at like 200.
But when it's in the trench, you've got to pull it.
It'll have, actually, you can pull it with the equipment. It'll also have lifting cables on it. where you can lift it and.
And your current equipment.
Yes, it is, because it's only 210 pounds.
But again, when you've got the friction of against the banks, it's way more than 210 pounds.
Well, that's, yeah, but these wouldn't, in this case, wouldn't necessarily be a super, it's not all the way against, probably wouldn't, you wouldn't probably be right against the wall. You're gonna be as close as you can. That's the difference between the trench box versus the hydraulic shoring. The hydraulic shoring actually pushes against the trench walls. So, I mean, but if we're looking at the options, I would look at the Allen Trench, I would recommend the Allen Trench safety portion of that. If we only want to look at one for now, then we can always expand on that further. Those do have the stackable options, so if the trench gets deeper, you can actually get connectors and actually make it taller.
Yeah, because I mean, if you're just using plywood and extensions, that's kind of, you're not dragging that, you're taking that apart and moving
You
it.
gotta take it apart.
You
You can't drag it.
That's what I'm saying, where, you're in a trench, you're taking this apart, well, you're at the mercy of. When you take this thing out. I'm just looking.
Well, when you're
I'm just saying, I understand, I'm just saying a trench box to me is more practical.
the hydraulic shoring is once it's in the hole, you're not in the hole taking it out. It's all,
Right.
you reach in, there's hooks, your pop, then everything falls into a hook and you never have to get back in the hole to pull it out. Obviously, that's against every OSHA regulation to be in there without trench safety if you have to put it in the first place. With that in mind, if you're looking at that, then I would recommend the Allen Trench Safety proposal along with the trailer proposal, and I put in there not to exceed 5,600. Which includes and then I had two different options in there that they had as of last week, they were both in stock. And I put on there the title and plate fee, just so we could have that. The 5,600 would cover the 2026 model, but if they still have the 25, I would do that because it's $100 cheaper.
And Josh, I'm assuming the height of the trailer, the ceiling height in it would accommodate if we went with the Pro Series.
That's correct, it's only 4 foot by 7, so it's 4 foot tall, yes. It would fit.
So the trenching. I'm not.
The panels themselves are 4 foot tall by 7 foot long.
So it's only 4 foot tall, so what if your trench is 8 foot deep?
Well, then you could actually have it, you're gonna get a leg, part of that quote is the legs, so you can actually have the bottom of the trench box 2 foot off the bottom of the trench. So you could actually get to 6. And then if you ever had to get deeper, then you could buy. We could get, you could always buy an extra kit. They have extensions where you can actually stack it, correct?
Are we often in 8 foot trenches?
No, not very often. Like I said, and that would be where if you're in a trench like that, that's where you could combine. If you have something, but if it came to that, I'd figure out something.
It's anybody else. I mean, at least it sounds like me like the Allen one, is something you can add on to.
Yes.
Under additional box, or do something else down the road, I mean. So I make a motion to approve the Allen Trench Safety at not to exceed 7,300. And the trailer at not to exceed 56.
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
2026 IC Pipeline Safety Conference request for Steve Mertz and Glenn Crafton on October 7th and 8th in Springfield. Is total expense would be $600 per person. So I'd like to make a motion to approve that training request.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item is the 2026 overlay project bid acceptance from Cameron Midwest Contracting for $374,042.90.
Yes, this would be for the old street overlays. We had 2 bids. On a $374,000 project, the 2 bids would have been $180 each. So I'd say they were right on what they were doing. So we'll just be requesting the acceptance of the bid as presented and authorize applicable signatures.
Who was the second bid from?
Reuters, who did our project last year.
I'd like to go ahead and make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Any other comments?
I do have a public comment. I attended the IMEA, IMUA, IPEA conference last week. Josh was able to make the dinner and we received a certificate of recognition from the city of Redwood by the Illinois Municipal Utilities Association for having achieved outstanding safety performance in the APPA's 2025 Safety Awards of Excellence Competition, Diamond Group A. Way to go, electric department. I wish they were still here. So, did you get all that? No. Yeah, you can read off of there. But well done, Josh. You and your crew for such a good safety award.
I do have one other thing that I was working on last week, and then after I got the packet, realized I didn't get the email to Christie. Travis Creek 6-month probationary period, I was gonna get that up, it actually ends at the end, middle, between now and council meeting. I may just put that on the council agenda for to formally approve of the ending of this probationary period, just wanna let you guys know that, and I didn't hit send on the email button.
Right. Any other comments? Not, I close at 7:21.
Okay, zoning committee is up next.
Mayor, I'll call zoning committee to order at 7:21. Myself, Demond, Beaver, Mueller, Nimoy, present. There's no old business, new business. I'll make a motion to approve prior month's meeting minutes.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Any public comments, anything for the good of the city? Hearing none, I will close zoning committee at 7:20.
Okay, the last committee of the evening is recreational facilities, and I will take that one, so we will call that to order at 7:22 p.m. Alderman Dojon is absent, but Demond, Conover, Nimoy, and Peel are present. Pool post-season plan update and old business. Josh, can you update us where we're at with the pool?
I got 2 hoses in, trying to fill it back up. I was, per the painter's instructions, when they finished last week, I was able to get a hose in the deep end on Saturday. Went out there Saturday morning, was able to get one in, he wanted me to wait one more day before I put anything in on the shallow end. Because to let that paint cure one more day, I did get that in. Maybe a few hours early, but he was, I already talked to him, he was good, I went out there late Saturday night and put it in there, so we have 2 hoses in there running. When I was out there this morning, it was just about to hit the wall at the south end finally at the 3 foot. So we had the whole deep end full and it's getting there. Typically, it takes about 4 days to get that all filled in. Then it'll take a little bit of time to get that chemicals balanced out, because when we first get that turned on and the chlorine, I have to crank the chlorine way up, get everything cleared off. And then bring that back down and get it back into the acceptable ranges that are nearly like 1 to 4 on the chlorine and the pH. Concrete work is all done, we've been working, trying to get stuff taken care of over there, the awnings are up. They have to do a little stencil painting, hoping the weather will cooperate, where we can get those no diving stencils and footmarks painted on the spots that they painted. And we're working this week also on getting those starting block inserts for the swim team reinstalled that Eric was able to get out and core those for me last week. So I just gotta get out there and get those installed, so that's the plan for this week.
Okay, we had previously announced May 23rd, which is this coming Saturday as opening day. Do we need to push that back given?
I would say at this point, yeah, because with it being probably Wednesday, my best guess right now at the earliest, before it probably completely full and getting time to get that all chemically balanced out. I might be looking at that still through the weekend, a little bit to see. Might go quicker, but obviously we don't want to put anybody in with high chlorine either. And
So you could work with Carla in the lifeguards. We're almost gonna have a floating date here, but that's.
we'll kind of see how things go, so as soon as it's full, we can get the pump turned on, we'll get the chemicals rolling, so.
Okay, but as far as we know, the splash pad is still set to open Saturday, pending.
With your permission, I was gonna open it Friday.
Well, that sounds terrific.
Okay.
And issue some breaking news. Okay, so we'll plan on splash pad on Friday, and then the pool is just gonna have to be delayed a few days to get it.
Yeah, and then one other quick thing on the pool, I just spoke briefly with Ronnie before the meeting. Which we kind of saw this when we put the awnings up in the front, where the frame was at for that. Front awning, the frame was a lot higher. and up to almost the top of the roof, so when they put the gutters on, the gutters went right to the frame. Well, when there was a piece of rubber that come down the list, bolted to the wall, so obviously the drip edge, well, now we have a gap between the edge of the wall. Or the edge of the ceiling and the awning, where when it's raining, it comes right in between there, so it's not doing a lot of good. I talked to Rodney about possibly putting some kind of, see if there's a deflector or something they could put on to divert that water over towards the gutters. We're gonna look at that, we'll see if that's an option to help keep that cleaned up as well.
Okay, anything else on pool? Alrighty, we'll shift to new business. I'm gonna have to call for motions for the meeting minutes of April 20th. I'll get a motion or a second.
Motion to approve meeting minutes from April 2nd.
Second.
Second, okay, all in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion carries. I need a motion for the resignation of Claude Easter as a parks laborer.
Move.
Second.
Good motion and a second, all in favor of that? Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Rip wrap. Josh has provided, I think, yeah.
Per request, it was
Friday.
asked me to put the
Yeah,
email,
I
put
don't
that
Friday
together,
update.
put the cost together for that, so that's just what's in there. The original bid was 92. 30.
Yeah, so if we did it on outside sources, the bid was 9,200. And in this case, if we did it ourselves, you would
This one.
charge the labor and the materials would be charged
Right.
to the
So
cost.
basically, I just put this together just to kind of show what the cost would be. As we were to bid this or do this for, just a normal project, the rates that we use for the equipment is all FEMA based rates, standardized rates that are put in every year. So that's what municipalities pretty much all around here use, so then that way there can't be any argument when you're building out. If you're building out on a project, this is what the rates are. That's what they're there for, so this is more of informational, it was. You guys already kind of instructed that you want me to fit this in whenever we could, I was just providing the cost per your request to kind of show what the cost would be.
I understand what you're saying with the labor rates, but it's still not additional. labor.
Well, that's what the mayor just said, that the only charge would be the labor and material, but I was just showing what the cost of the project would be.
So instead of being charged the streets, they'd be charged the parks, but to your point, the cost was still there to the city at large.
Yes,
Now, when Bill and I had talked this afternoon. Do you think summertime is the ideal time to do this? Like coming off of spring rains, you got a lot of kids in the parks, you got kids at the splash pad, you're gonna have equipment. Would even postponing this to fall, because you're gonna have dirt that's gonna be like concrete you're driving on, and you won't have quite the.
Well, that's
foot
just, it
traffic.
was either wait in mid-July where you could try and get in there and do some stuff going around. Cause the biggest thing is with the tractor trailers that you're gonna have to bring those material in, I'm not gonna put them on the new asphalt parking lot because that would just destroy it.
Thank you.
So it would be to where we kind of did when we did the golf course. We actually dumped the stuff over in the sports complex parking lot and had to just bucket it over with the backhoe. So that's what we anticipated, we would do it on that oil and chip section over there, so, and this is just. Was cost for you guys, I know you've already kind of said that you want us to take care of it, which is fine, I was just showing what the cost would be. And we would just kind of find the best time to do this, from a people at the park, working around.
And even if it spills, even if it would spill into fall, I don't know that the world's gonna.
We'll just maintain with having the third guy, we can help keep that area maintained and mowed down, and even if we get. Some of the dirt in there to at least get it leveled off, we can at least do bits and pieces as time allows.
what are we looking at if we include labor and everything?
Labor materials. Is 66, 65.
And how much of that is labor?
Labor's 29.58. Materials is 34.75, I figured
Would
5
it-
loads.
Would it not be possible to dump that riprap on the backside of that wall and just work it in there?
Yeah, it'd be getting the big semis over there, that's the thing.
You go across the,
But I'm just worried about with that heavy of a load on there, would they run it up?
to me, it doesn't make any sense to dump it somewhere, pick it up with backhoe and move it over there. and-
I was just trying to prevent having large ruts go across the soccer field. With the tractor trailers.
Got in a loaded truck, what are you talking?
With that, it's the 150 pound, this is the big 150 pound rip wrap, so it's the bigger.
I don't know how much damage you're talking about to grass and. Well,
I mean, it,
In the fall, probably, I'm not sure.
That's what I'm saying, if you time it right, that would be a thought, if you can get over there and time it right without the minimal damage, yeah, you get closer and cut on costs. If we wanted to get this done right away, that's why I put it together, that if we had to put it over there, this is what it would be.
yeah,
This is worst case scenario, Mike.
I talked to Kyle today too, and he's very adamant about the city doing this project.
And I, like I said, you guys asked for the cost, I can come
He
get that
said,
to you.
I'd
That's
love
it.
to see it done, yeah, but you know, if we gotta wait, we gotta wait.
No, well, like I said, we'll work it as we can,
My
that's not a
point to
problem.
him was, it sat there all last year. Without very rapid, as long as you keep the weeds down and.
Well, that was at the direction of Bob Schumacher, who wanted to let that stuff that he put in there settle out. Because otherwise he thought it would have bigger problems, so that's why he told us to,
I mean, it-
if anything, not to do that until this year, so
It's
that's
still
why we
sat
did it.
there all summer last year without anything, and nobody, you know, said anything, so I think we could clearly wait until, well,
Yeah, well, I just was just providing the cost.
yeah.
And signed by.
well, this is Rats Park, so
But it's all gonna be city right.
If it starts raining the 1st of August, and rain's still.
We'll do what we can to
It
work it
is what
in.
it is, you know?
okay, so we'll do it in-house, hopefully summer, late summer, maybe into the fall, we'll see how weather conditions.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Right, 'cause I think we had previously approved that, this was just.
Yeah, I just needed to ask for the cost.
Okay, next item is bulk approval of FY 27 select line item details. We've done this the last couple of years rather than coming back one by one by one. We just approve this in bulk. If you wanna make a motion and exclude, I mean, the riprap will not cost us as we've just talked about, but it's at least covered in this list. But all we would be looking for is one motion that would cover all of these items in one motion rather than coming back to the council throughout the fiscal year. So I would entertain a motion for the select line items for FY 27.
I make a motion that we do the select line items for budget year 2027.
We have a motion and a second, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. And then I would call for a motion, the Muskets Athletic Club, they would like to reserve the basketball courts at Lincoln Park for a 3-on-3 basketball tournament on June 27th. There's some other notes that they had in their request, so I would entertain a motion to accommodate their request.
Move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Is there any public comment coming out of this committee? Hearing none, I'll close this committee at 7:33, and that concludes our evening. Thank you all.